let more of that energy not express itself in skin and bones and blood. Let it express itself in radiation. Let it express itself. Don't put the brakes on it. You know what I'm talking about. When you go to express yourself, you do it. Yeah, it'll drive you a little crazy. Of course it will. But I mean, if you're going to handle a life, you can handle crazy. Because it's pretty crazy. Is it not? It all seems pretty crazy, doesn't it? You're handling it, right? Handle it some more. Go beyond your mind. And let life push you around. Not the world. Life. You can't use your mind to arrive there. Ever. 15 years I've tried. Nope. But if you do express yourself, what's actually real about you, and you don't compromise that, you get there a lot faster. This is for the heart. This life is not for your mind. The mind helps you. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to get hit by a bus? You better have a mind. You're going to make that date on time? You better have a mind. But understand that the mind is the drama of life. That's what it is. It's the that which provides all the props, all the scripts, all the characters for that drama of life. So we go to try to understand life with that. It's not going to be clear. It can't. It doesn't have enough information. There's a lot of pretending and no actual information. Because information is not a word strung together. Right? I mean, you could read something a million times and then one day you're like, oh, I get it. What is it you got? If you think about it, there's a recognition in you going on. Oh, I get it. The light goes on. It has nothing to do with what you were thinking about. It has nothing to do with how much you were analyzing it. It was you realized it. You were aware of what it was and you went, oh, hey, hey. And it's always like, wow, like a light went on. It's no different in any situation. It's always the same. We use our beings, we will realize, not think. Right? If we use our hearts, we'll know. It's the only way you can. Mind, I've said it a million times, it's just a tool, it's a hammer. It's a hammer on nails. And because we live in a society where it's all about our thoughts, then we take hammers out and we start hitting each other with them. We take our mind and go, I know who you are, I know what you're doing. I know you, which is a complete fallacy. What you know is your thoughts about the person. Yeah. That's what you know. You know your perception of what you're looking at. Yours. But does that make what you're looking at any more understandable? No. For that, you have to be present. That ego is that's where it's at, it's in the mind. They're one and the same. pretty well aware of that. But the more we think, the more strenuous it becomes. The more suffering seems to creep in on us. The more anxiety we all experience. Right? When you're outside of that, you're just doing your thing, it's flowing very nicely. You feel like you're on top of the world. At what point does doing it that way become valuable to you? To do it that way consistently, intuitively, knowing that it's life itself coming through you. Knowing the very thing that made you is streaming through you at every moment. No matter how much your mind tries to convince you that you're lacking something. To me, the best training I found, best thing someone can do, is be in your body. Be very present in your body. As long as you're there, you won't be outside the present moment. That'd be impossible. And then you can figure out what it's all about very quickly. There's no one to tell you what life is about. Life will show you what it's about. And it will show you so you know without a shadow of a doubt what you're looking at. Which will give you your own conviction. You won't rely on anyone else for it. You won't have to have 1,000 people agree with you to make it real. Because it's real. That's what's really interesting. Is those that have really experienced that, it's real for them. But to anybody looking, there's always this skeptical nature of humans. So you can always tell who's really, really there. People are skeptical and it just doesn't faze them. They don't need that. They don't need the recognition from others. If you're really in contact with life itself, it's not really important to you what other people think. Because being is satisfaction itself. It is well-being. It is not operating out of lack or need. It's operating out of, wow, this is fun. Let's keep going. This is lovely. Let's do this. It's the love of life expressing itself. We're turning it bad. We're all standing on the shores of life instead of being in the water. And we're peeing in it by chopping it up with our minds and, oh no, I understand your behavior. I know where it's coming from. Oh, well, you just need to do this. You just need to do that. And all this information floating all over the place, and none of it is valid. Because no one knows where it's actually coming from. Who's proved that work hard and get a good education and you're going to be a happy person with a fulfilled life? You know how absurd. If you recognize that you are life itself, you'll be operating from a state of well-being, and that will be a good life. I mean, reaching for it for years and years doesn't really sound like a lot of fun. Chasing it, chasing well-being. Oh, come get me. It's like, that sounds like a whole lot of waste of creative energy, a whole lot of waste of expression. To be so rooted in that need. I need this, I need that. I need to be more of this, I need to be less of that. Who does? Aren't you everything all at once anyway? I mean, ultimately, you all know you're a universe. I mean, I can look at you, right? I can see this container there, and I can say I understand this thing. But there is a depth in it and levels, dimensional levels, that far supersede what you can presently see. There's a whole universe in there. There's a whole universe in there. Just as big as the one you're in. That's who you are. And the power that's in it is you. The life force that flows through it is you. Humans got this strange idea that we should apply all that life force to thinking and relating and having relationships based on agreements and contracts and compromises. We allow allow it to fuel this false identity we all carry around. So that takes a life of its own. So the suffering, in a sense, becomes real. Why? You've put your life force into it. You put those thoughts out there. You put your energy behind it. You focused on it. And they became real to you. Life sucks. The complaining, the whining. It's not that anything's really wrong. You're just existing in a very low level, energetic dimension of Earth. You're deciding to be in the grossness of it instead of in the more subtle, lighter spots of it. I can give you an example of the dimensional shift we've all done it. Okay, let's take anger. Okay, when you're angry, things look a certain way. Right? You look at people and well, you have a certain feeling about them. There's a certain feeling going on inside of you. The world gets kind of ugly. People get kind of ugly. All your situations get kind of ugly because you're angry. Right? It's a much different world than when you're happy. Right? When you're happy, it's totally different. People around you, it's so lovely. Right? Everything's beautiful and bright. And you notice the birds singing. When you're angry, the only thing you notice is what's wrong. Right? When you're happy, what you notice is what's good. There's a dimensional shift right there. It's the awareness. What's it on? So you can exist at this mental place, very two-dimensional at best. There's not much to it. And really, I think everybody's suffering from, they haven't experienced that freedom yet. They're stuck here. They believe their thoughts are them. They believe what they think about suffering is actually them. They have taken on the belief that what they think they are. And if you put enough life force into that, enough attention in that, it's true to you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be true to the person standing next to you. But then what do we do with that suffering? We go look for agreements. Why? We call our girlfriends on the phone. We tell them how horrible our lives are. We influence other people to stay there with us in this pathetic state of suffering. It is unbelievable that this actually goes on. Because it just shows that, love is a nice word. Notice how it doesn't actually do anything to say it. That there's actually, wait a minute here. Maybe these things that we, emulate so much, like love and bliss, all these things, heaven, nirvana, maybe these aren't like concepts and ideas. Maybe these are activities. Maybe this is the active part of being alive. Right? Maybe embracing change is the active part of being alive. Maybe heaven actually already exists, but it's our activity that determines how far we'll get to it, how close we'll get to it, whether we'll get there or not. Nothing to do with what we think. Not a thing. So if we're going to have a mind, we have a mouth. Right? See, the cool thing about when you go at it from the mind, you're never responsible for what you say. Because you can always just erase it. Like a dirty email on your computer. Gone! You go, what are you talking about? I didn't say nothing. Or just avoid somebody. Just avoid them altogether. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to deal with it. It can just fester inside.